like everything. Man, a while will bring a nation against you from afar, man. We ask, like, where these people come from? From the end of the earth. Uh-oh. Flat drop 101. Because a round ball ain't got no ends. It's just a round ball. There's no end to it, you know. It's just a ball, you know. But a plane has ends, you know, at least boundaries. As the vulture swoops down, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance that shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young, and he shall eat the fruit of your cattle, and the fruit of the ground, until thou be destroyed, that also shall not leave the corn. We just talked about the corn, right? Wine or oil, the increase of your kind, or the young of your flock. They're killing everything until he have caused thee to perish. So these are your choices. That's the big if, right? That's the big if. All we gotta do is listen diligently. All we gotta do is observe. Keep a watch first. Don't kill. Don't steal. What part of this is difficult when it comes to the code? Because Exodus 20 got us in code, and I ain't gotta reinvent the code. You ain't gotta reinvent the code. We ain't gotta reinvent the code. This is not, Drop Nation coming up with nothing new, right? We're just observing. This is the code. I am Yahweh, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods. We just talked about that. Yahweh's a jealous guy, right? Any mother would be pissed off if you called another mother, right? Any father would be pissed off if you called another daddy. Don't act like the creator's tripping. You tripping. No other powers before Yahweh. Most of everything. Just tell me what part you disagree with. Don't take the name of Hawa in vain. You want to put Hawa's name on everything? You want to put everything in the name of God? God said, God visited me, and this is what God put on my heart. This is what the Creator put on my heart. Look, man, we can't confirm or deny what's in your heart, what the Creator put on your heart. Stop using that to try to validate what you got to say. Stop using the Creator's name in vain. The name, Hawa, is the breath, security, the secure breath. You don't want no vain breath, and you don't want no vain security. What's security without no breath? And what's breath without security? You need them both, and none of them could be vain. You want vain security? You want some vain bodyguards? You want vain breath? That's no breath. Don't take your breath or your security in vain. You understand? What part do you disagree with about Hawa's code? This is the most ancient code we tapping into. Remember the Shabbat to keep it holy. 6 days you labor, and then you rest. What part do you disagree with rest? You rest every night. You need to breathe, right? Every inhale, exhale. You take a breath. You don't just keep talking forever. You got to take a rest, right? You can't keep working forever. There has to be a time where you look your family in the eye to build your family, to build your tribe. That's rest, to build your frequency with the Creator directly. Close your gates. What part do you disagree with? Honor your frame and your shaper above, right? Honor your father and your mother, that the days may be long upon the land, man. It's about keeping you on your land for a long time by honoring Abba Ama. What? You disagree with that? Thou shalt not murder your brother, your sister? You disagree with that? And there's a difference between murdering and killing. Because, obviously you got an invader on your land. That's not murder. You got to, put a wall of protection up for your children, for your family. No one could just walk in your house and start popping off, violating, right? So you disagree with that? Yeah, I didn't think so. Thou shalt not commit adultery. You want to keep mixing with these, foreign frequencies, man. You want to keep mixing out with lesser, substance. I don't like us, mixing nothing pure water, our frequency, and mainly adultery compares to you going after these other gods, right? Because that's when we're being called an adulteress and a harlot and all that. Yeah, you definitely keep your oaths, to each other, and, as wives, as husbands, all that. But the Creator, even deeper, he don't want you being an adulteress when it comes to who you giving your frequency to, what powers that you serving. And the thing about, any of this foreign frequencies that it always led us to foreign powers, to foreign entities, to foreign energy. You ain't gotta, mix down your frequency. You ain't gotta, be someone that has vain oaths when it comes to, your significant other or your creator. Do you disagree with that? This is the code of conduct for a tribe. This code is not given to the world. This code is given to Israel. Because Hawa brought us out of bondage. So we should have no other power before Hawa, our creator. We went in bondage because we chose to be in bondage. Because slavery is a choice. When you're out of code, that's what you get. You're going to get mad at your parents for locking you in a room and putting you on timeout when you bad and say, I'm a slave in this house. I can't leave to go play with the homies. No, you little such and such. You better get your ass in the room. Next time I tell you to clean up, I bet you're going to do it. I bet you're going to do it. For real, for real. Oh, now you a slave because, you grounded or whatever the case is. Man, you better be lucky. You know what I mean? It could be way worse. Get that switch off the tree, man. Old school, man. What Hawaii say about that rod, man? But yeah, that's that rod. Hawaii say he gonna put that rod on us when we out of code. So do you disagree with not murdering your brother? Do you disagree with not, mixing your frequency out, with lesser substances, with something that isn't pure water, such as these other gods, mostly like these other powers? Do you agree that you should give your energy, direct to the Creator, and there should be no wavering? And when you are, married in a situation, that you should give your energy to your spouse unadulterated, pure water, without mixing it outside your house? I mean, do you agree that you should keep your oaths? Do you agree with the code? Can we build a community simply by keeping the code, even these 9 commandments, right? So far, they say 1, 2, but we know all this is 1. All this is the same transgression. No gods before me, no graven images. That's 1. And then no vanity. That's 2. The Shabbat. That's 3. Honor your frame and your shaper. That's 4. No murder on your brother, your sister. That's 5. No adultery. That's 6. Don't steal from your naga. That's 7. No bearing false witnessing. You weren't a witness to it. You ain't got nothing to do with it. Don't be bringing up your brother and sister's name purposely just to put a smear campaign out, just to lower their vibration, just to, make it look like they something they ain't, so that you can feel like you got some one up on somebody, or, like, they call that snitching in the hood. But the big difference is between this and snitching is that, see, back in the day, we had real elders. When something happened, you're supposed to be able to go to your elder and tell them, like, what's up. That's not snitching. If, you see an old lady get robbed and you got to tell the elders, like, yo, you got to handle this. He can't come back to you and say, man, you snitching on me. Nah, man, I'm telling the elders, man, because you got a problem, man. So we got to get this out of the community. We got to deal with this. Or I got to deal with it. So I'd rather go to the elders before I really have to do something that just makes sense. But these days, we don't have the elders, we got the popo, right? And the popo, that's not our elders. So, going to them in many cases makes the situation sometimes a lot worse, you know what I mean? And, you get them in your business, they're liable to come do something to you, and you called them. So, it's just all bad when you don't got your elders. Now you bring it in the hijack. So then it became like, no, you can't cooperate at all with no popo, right? On any level, you cannot cooperate because that's bringing it outside of our tribe. That's bringing it outside of our neighborhood where we could just handle it in the street. And that's what they do. And that's also all bad because then you got more murder, right? So the lack of the elders is leading to, this stuff not being dealt with, and no one can go to nobody. There's nobody to go to. There's nobody to bear witness to at all. It's okay to bear witness. If you could save a life, if you could save the homie, if you could save your brother, your sister, it's a good heart that goes with bearing witness. It's an evil heart that goes with bearing false witness. Because now you're setting up a naga. Now you're coming with false testimony just to get a naga in a jam. Can we agree that this is all bad? We agree, right? So what part of the code don't you understand? Don't you, don't you want to connect to today? Is it the Shabbat? Is it the rest? Man, do your best, man. I know that these days are crazy and they make everything on Saturdays and everything's, I know, and do your best to close your gates. And again, even if you just get a few hours of that, that's a great step in the right direction, man. I don't think Hawaii put us in captivity because of our lack of Shabbats. I believe we're in captivity because we kept going after these other guys. And honestly, I don't think we would have been in captivity like this if we didn't break this rule number one the way we did. And everything else followed that. You know what I'm saying? But, keep your Shabbat, man. Keep it holy. And that's the whole point. You want to work your way up to a point where, you're closing your gates and, you're doing the best you can, the most you can, you know what I'm saying? And what part of rest, it's something that is difficult for a Naga to get or understand. So when Hawaii talk about commandments and code and we read the code and you don't have no problem with the code. You ain't got no problem with not murdering your brother, with not, not breaking your oaths to each other, keeping your situation pure, not stealing from a Naga, man. You know what I'm saying? Not bringing a Naga down, bearing false witness, stuff you ain't got no testimony, no witness to, not coveting your neighbor's house, having that covetous heart. Man, we're going to get back in the code, keepers. We didn't leave off on covetous. I think we left off on false witness, man. So look out for it. We back, man. So look, a covetous Naga, he sees or she sees what you got and they want that thing. They don't want to be like you or be inspired by you. They want what you got. That's a covetous heart. And you ain't supposed to be covetous towards your brother, your sister, your neighbor's house at all. Whatever they got, their wife, whatever they got, you know what I'm saying? They car, they bank account. You should have a pure heart and just be inspired by them or, look to inspire them to be even greater. Like, that should be your heart. And all the people perceive the thunderings and the lightnings and the voice of the horn and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. And they said unto Moshe, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not Hawa speak with us unless we die, man. Because, yeah, they were shook. What part of this 9 code don't make sense? I think it all makes sense. Number one, no power before your power. No vanity on your breath and security, number 2. Keep your Shabbat, number 3. Honor your framer and your shaper, number 4. Don't murder, number 5. No adultery, number 6. Don't steal, number 7. No false witness, number 8. And number 9, no covetous heartbone. Then you could pop off with some thundering and some lightning and some mountain smoking, man. Because Hawaii's popping off with dragon fire, man. I'm just saying, man, I didn't mean to, take this particular, route, go through all this, but, when the heart bone feels that frequency, man, I think every time we go through it, it hits a little different, you know what I'm saying? And If this hits you a little different this time, then go ahead and leave me doing this because the head is being lifted, right? Now that we're not the head, we're the tail, right? They're taking counsel against us, the treasured ones, the same treasured ones that stop listening to the Creator. And they have said, let us cut them off from being a nation, the same nation that stopped observing the code, the commandments of Hawa, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance, the same Israel that turned to other gods. That's who they're consulting together with one consent. Against you, do they make a covenant, man? They all got to team up against you, man. Who's behind the scenes for real, for real? I mean, for real, for real. Let's go. Matter of fact, it's a good point right here, the belly flop, and take it all home to 101.
The corporation's capital.
Shout out straight up again. Go click the link below, man. Straight up. Got the drop straight up. I'm going to get a little more of that. I'm going to go into some great comments that y'all leaving, man. And
with social, medical, and educational causes, from the birth control movement to the development of psychology to urban sanitation. Psychologists persecuted their patients, teachers stigmatized their students, trade associations clamored to send those in need of help to legal chambers they hoped would be constructed. Immigration assistance bureaus convened to send the most needy to sterilization mills. Leaders of the ophthalmology profession conducted a long and chilling political campaign to round up and coercively sterilize every relative of every American with a vision problem. All this turned throughout America years before the Third Reich rose in Germany. Eugenics targeted all mankind, so of course its scope was global. The American eugenic evangelists launched similar movements and practices throughout Europe, Latin America, and Asia. Forced sterilization laws and regimes took root on every continent. Each local American eugenic ordinance or statute from Virginia to Oregon was promoted internationally as yet another precedent to be emulated by the international movement. A tight network of mainstream medical and eugenic journals, international meetings, and conferences kept the generals and soldiers of eugenics up to date and armed with their nation's next legislative opportunity. Eventually, American eugenic movement spread to Germany as well, where it caught the fascination of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi movement. Under Hitler, eugenics...
it was America's eugenic movement, Manak. America's eugenic movement. It was the hijacks here that spread it to the Germany situation, right? So, yeah, they try to make it like it's the other way around. Nah, man. They came in and exterminated Naga. I apologize for getting cut off last time. They literally pulled the plug on a Naga. The computer screen went black. Everything froze, man. They be just jamming. And they trying to jam us up, but really, it's beautiful, you know, because we keep going. And it just makes us hungrier. It just makes us thirstier for that water. So, allow hey, Shalom Drop Nation. Hey, Shalom, hey, shout out to Straight Up, man. Click the link below, man. Get Straight Up. Get in his channel, man. He got that drop. All right, man. So, let's just keep going and let's have some fun, man. We're going to get through the rest of this debate, man. Let's go.
Eugenics beyond any American eugenicist dream. National socialism transcended America's quest for a superior Nordic race into Hitler's drive for an Aryan master race. The Nazis were fond of saying National Socialism is nothing but applied biology. And in 1934, the Richmond Times-Dispatch quoted a prominent American eugenicist as saying, "The Germans are beating us at our own game. The Gypsies, the rape of Poland, and the decimation of all Europe." But none of America's far-reaching scientific racism would have risen above ignorant rants without the backing of corporate philanthropic largesse. Within these pages, you will discover the sad truth of how scientific rationales that drove killer doctors at Auschwitz were first concocted on Long Island at the Carnegie Institution's eugenic enterprise at Cold Spring Harbor. You will see that during the war Hitler regime, the Carnegie Institution, through its Cold Spring Harbor complex, enthusiastically propagandized for the Nazi regime and even distributed anti-Semitic Nazi party films to American high schools. And you'll see the links between the Rockefeller Foundation's massive financial grants and the German scientific establishment that began the eugenics programs that were finished by Mengele at Auschwitz. Only after the truth about Nazi extermination became known did the American eugenics movement fade. American eugenics institutions rushed to change their names from eugenics to genetics.
Whoa.
Okay, so I know that was a lot. However, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to the unspoken history of the United States. So for most of this video, I will be quoting from Edwin Black's book. In order to compile the research, Mr. Black utilized a network of dozens of researchers, mostly volunteers, working in the United States, England, Germany, and Canada, unearthed some 50,000 documents and period publications from more than 40 archives, dozens of libraries, special collections, and other repositories, page 19. As I read in the introduction, eugenics was international. Why do I mention this fact? Because it goes to show how the white supremacist ideology spread to the majority of the world and why they currently believe in the whitewash history being taught in all of our educational institutions. I'm going to be paraphrasing much of this book due to the fact that it's over 600 pages. That said, I will add page numbers in case you want to find the exact wording in the book. As Mr. Black set out to research in the United States, he found archived information on eugenics at the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia, the Truman State University in northern Missouri, the numerous obscure community colleges in the Appalachian States, and a long list of state archives, county historical files, and institutional archives where personal papers and period materials are stored. He also spent much time in many small private libraries and archives, such as the one maintained by Planned Parenthood. His team examined records at the Rockefeller Foundation and the Carnegie Institution. He also noted there are probably 200 important repositories in America, many of them special collections and manuscript departments of local libraries or universities. Because eugenics was administered on the local level, every state probably possessed 3 to 5 sites hosting important eugenics documentation. Mr. Black noted that many of the propaganda pamphlets used to promote eugenics in the U.S. were purged from files. However, they could still be found in British records, page 20. So that tells me that the United States has and will purge, aka destroy information they don't want people to know about or remember. Mr. Black goes on further to say, because the German and American wings collaborated so closely, the German archives clearly trace the development of German race hygiene as it emulated the American program. More importantly, because the American and German movements function as a binary, their leaders bragged to one another and exchanged information constantly. Therefore, he learned much about America's record by examining Reich-era files. For instance, although the number of individuals sterilized in Vermont has eluded researchers in the state, the information is readily available in the files of Nazi organizations. Still on page 20, it says, when it was finished, the journey to discover America's eugenic history had taken me from an austere highway warehouse in Vermont, where the state's official files are stacked right next to the automotive supplies and retrieved by forklift, to the architectonic British Library, to the massive Bundesarchiv in Berlin, and every type of research environment in between. Sometimes I sat in a chair in a reading room, sometimes I poked through boxes in a basement. On to page 22, it states, when we were done, we had assembled a mountain of documentation that clearly chronicled a century of eugenic crusading by America's finest universities, most reputable scientists, most trusted professional and charitable organizations, and most revered corporation foundations. They had collaborated with Department of Agriculture and numerous state agencies in an attempt to breed a new race of Nordic humans, applying the same principles used.
Department of Agriculture, right? So now we got our crops. Now we're talking about being plant-based, right? But these people playing chess, not checkers, man.
They had on corn, the names find power and prestige in her. The Carnegie Institution, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Henry and Railroad Fortune, Harvard University, Princeton University, Yale University, Stanford University, and the American Medical Association, Margaret Sanger, Oliver Wendell Holmes, Robert Garrix, Woodrow Wilson, American Museum of Natural History, the American Genetic Association, and a sweeping array of government agencies from the obscure Virginia Bureau of Vital Statistics to the United States State Department. On page 23, Mr. Black states, when the research phase was over, I realized that less than half of the information I assembled would ever make it into this book. Frankly, I don't have enough information to write a freestanding book for each of the 21 chapters in this volume. It was painful to pick and choose which information to be included, but I'm confident that with so many journalists throughout America now aggressively delving into eugenics, the field will soon be as broad and diverse as the investigations of the Holocaust and American slavery. At least one book could be written for each state, starting with California, which was America's most energetic eugenic state. Do you remember in the beginning of the video, I told you one of the issues I...
Let me go back. Did y'all hear that? California. Let me go back.
Is over. I realized that less than half of the information I assembled would ever make it into this book. Frankly, I don't have enough information to write a freestanding book for each of the 21 chapters in this volume. It was painful to pick and choose which information to be included, but I'm confident that with so many journalists throughout America now aggressively delving into eugenics, the field will soon be as broad and diverse as the investigations of the Holocaust and American slavery. At least one book could be written for each state, starting with California, which was America's most energetic eugenic state. Do you remember in the beginning of this video, I told you one of the issues I had with this book was that I felt that Mr. Black came across information that was...
I'm going to go back one more time. I really want y'all to hear that.
On page 23, Mr. Black states, when the research phase was over, I realized that less than half of the information I assembled would ever make it into this book. Frankly, I don't have enough information to write a freestanding book for each of the 21 chapters in this volume. It was painful to pick and choose which information to be included, but I'm confident that with so many journalists throughout America now aggressively delving into eugenics, the field will soon be as broad and diverse as the investigations of the Holocaust and American slavery. At least one book could be written for each state, starting with California, which was America's most energetic eugenic state. Do you remember in the beginning of this video, I told you one of the issues I had with this book was that I felt that Mr. Black came across information that would bolster my claim that people of color ruled Europe and the United States before Reconstruction. However, like he states, he had to pick and choose what information to place in the book. Okay, so on page 24, Mr. Black states, this is the right place to note that virtually all the organizations I investigated cooperated with unprecedented rigor because they want the history illuminated as much as anyone. This includes the Rockefeller Foundation, the Carnegie Institution, Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, and the Max Planck Institute, successors of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute, all gave unlimited access and unstinted assistance. Alright, so here's my question. Do you think Mr. Black would have been given access to all those inaccessible archives and private collections unless he promised them he would only stick to information regarding eugenics? I truly believe this is the deal that was struck in order for him to be granted this unprecedented access. Alright, so on page 25, Mr. Black states, my mission is to disclose who paid for these blatant episodes, who agreed to them, who made them possible, and who used his lofty status as a university scholar, a medical expert, a governor, a judge, a legislator, a prominent attorney, or wealthy philanthropic organization to press forward on the gear shift of genocide. Alright, so why do I mention this paragraph? Because individuals in these positions mentioned above were also responsible for allowing our true history to be rewritten and taught to future generations. I believe power, greed, jealousy, and envy were contributing factors as to why these people did these horrible things. I also believe it's why it's allowed to continue to this very day. According to Mr. Black's book, the man that coined the word eugenics was an English explorer and anthropologist named Sir Francis Galton. However, he was inspired by Gregory Mendel, a Hungarian scientist and teacher, and Galton's cousin, the English naturalist Charles Darwin. These theories took root around the time of the American Civil War, well into the time of the Reconstruction period. Coincidence? I think not. Let me read you a little bit more from the book to give you an idea of what was going on during the early 20th century. Alright, so we're going into chapter 1 of the book, and it's called Mountain Sweeps. It goes on to read, in the 1930s, the Brush Mountain Hill folk, like many other clans scattered throughout the isolated Appalachian slopes, lived in abject poverty. With little education, often without running water or indoor plumbing, and possessing few amenities, they seem beyond the reach of social progress. Speaking with indistinct drawls and slurred vestigial accents that mark them as hillbillies, dressed in rough-hewn clothing, or hand-downs, and sometimes diseased or poorly developed due to the long-term effects of squalor and malnutrition, they were easy to despise. Quite simply, polite Virginia society considered them white trash, page 31. These simple mountain people were systematically sterilized under a Virginia law compelling such operations for those ruled unfit. Often, the teenage boys and girls placed under the surgeon's knife did not really comprehend the ramifications. Sometimes they were told they were undergoing an appendectomy or some other unspecified procedure. Generally, they were released after the operation.
You know, I'm trying to see this with a Dragonfly perspective, man. The more we, key in and zone in on the more and more war and who's really behind this, sterilizing poor white trash ain't like, oh no, they'll do this to their own. I mean, who's really behind this? In other words, if a black man or black woman or black families of that are connected to old ancient biblical tribes that are confederate against Israel, right? Let's just say it like that. Yeah, if you white, that's not gonna save you from sterilization. You know what I'm saying? Because they black, like they ain't tripping on that. Especially if you look into these creation stories, like they created these non-melanated situations, as their own slaves and servants, and that gets into the magic of things. You know what I'm saying? So, looking at it with a Dragonfly perspective, poor white trash, to a rich, noble black family, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they would definitely be a target. And I guess the more, aristocratic or noble families or richer families or, wealthy, whatever we're talking about, they will be more protected. And if you look at it like that, man, this stuff starts to align even more. How they'll let their own people, or tribes that look like them that are not them would also be targets, right? So it's like a bunch of people, are falling under this collateral damage. But what's the real target, right? We know that it keeps coming right back home to these Negroes that, are genetically being targeted. Even these nanos and all the stuff we talk about today, these nanoparticle this and all these, spraying in the sky and, all this stuff like that. A lot of this is genetically targeted. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these diseases are genetically targeted. GMOs and all this stuff. They're still targeting the genes, whether they call it genetic or eugenic. Yeah, they were shook. What part of this 9 code don't make sense? I think it all makes sense. Number one, no power before your power. No vanity on your breath and security. Number 2, keep your Shabbat. Number 3, honor your framer and your shaper. Number 4, don't murder. Number 5, no adultery. Number 6, don't steal. Number 7, no false witness. And number 8, and number 9, no covetous heartbone. Then you could pop off with some thunder and some lightning. Be in captivity because we kept going after these other guys. And honestly, I don't think we would have been in captivity like this if we didn't break this rule number 1 the way we did. And everything else followed that. You know what I'm saying? But, keep your Shabbat, man. Keep it holy. And that's the whole point. You want to work your way up to a point where, you're closing your gates and, you're doing the best you can, the most you can. You know what I'm saying? And what part of rest You know, it's something that is difficult for a Naga to get or understand. So when Hawa talk about commandments and code, and we read the code, and you don't have no problem with the code. You ain't got no problem with not murdering your brother, with not, you know, not breaking your oaths to each other, keeping your situation pure, not stealing from a Naga, man. You know what I'm saying? Not bringing a Naga down, bearing false witness, stuff you ain't got no testimony, no witness to, not coveting your neighbor's house, having that covetous heart. Man, we're going to get back in the code. The code, I am Hawa, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other God. We just talked about that. Hawa's a jealous guy, right? Any mother would be pissed off if you called another mother mother, right? Any father would be pissed off if you called another daddy daddy. Don't act like the creator's tripping. The 1st of December, 1959. 1959. By the 12 countries whose scientists have been active in and around Antarctica during the International Geophysical War. What?